Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, am I audible? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Good. Just give me 1 second. Is the screen visible? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
It's visible, Prabhu.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So welcome all of you for this 9th day of our journey to Janmashtami. I'm very happy and I feel very blessed that we are able to do this by the mercy of Nitai Gauranga, this opportunity to hear and to understand some of the pastimes of great devotees of the Lord who have exhibited something very, very exemplary, and how we can follow in their footsteps and achieve the same destination as achieved by them. So without further delay, this presentation is dedicated to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. So today, the verse that we will see from Bhagavatam, which basically is spoken by the sages of Naimisharanya, the beginning of Bhagavatam, where they have assembled to hear from Sutta Goswami, Naimisharanya, 5,000 years back. They finished their early morning ablutions and they were performing a 1,000-year sacrifice. And then when they saw Sutta Goswami, the most qualified, most deserving, and the biggest transcendentalist of that time was present, they abandoned all their activities and they were very eager to hear this Krishna Katha from him. So this verse goes like this. Vayam tu na vitrupyama uttama shloka vikrame yah shrunvatam rasa jnanam swadu swadu pade pade. So this talks about a very unique quality which is required in a devotee, which is required if a person is sincere about advancing in devotional life, in his spiritual life. The sages are telling very clearly to Suta Goswami something very striking in the beginning of Bhagavatam. Vayam refers to a plural, that's all of us, all the sages. Vayam tu na vitrapyama. Tripti and tripyama has the same root word, means to feel satisfied, to feel that we are done with, satiated, we are saturated. So the sages are saying we are never satiated, we are never tired of hearing. Vayam tu na vitrapyama uttama shloka vikrame. And this is a very important quality, and it is again and again in various scriptures, through various references, our acharyas are telling how we should be eager to hear. Eagerness to hear is an important attribute or a quality of a devotee who is serious about advancing in spiritual life. Not that, okay, 25 I did, 5, 6, 7, that's all. Rest all is for somebody else. No, I should be very eager, not just 25 days. The whole life I should be eager to hear about this Krishna Katha. There is a temple in South India called Kottiyur, and it's a Shiva's temple. Out of 365 days, 350 days, the temple remains closed. Only for 15 days the temple is open. And when the temple is open, there is a huge rush to have the darshan of this Shivalinga. There is a devotee by name Pundanam Namudri. He was reciting Bhagavatam for the pleasure of the devotees and for the pleasure of Lord Shiva as well. So this is mentioned that this Pundanam Namudri, when he was describing the pastime of Krishna kidnapping Rukmini, that's 60th or 61st chapter in the Krishna book in the 10th canto. So it was so nice, that Krishna Katha. It was so amazing and so engrossing that all the people were very deeply absorbed in that. And there is a niyama, there is a rule in that temple. Wherever the bookmark is in the Bhagavatam, the next day the speaker begins from there. So he used to finish this chapter and he used to put the bookmark and come back the next day only to find that the bookmark has gone back to the same previous chapter, 61st chapter. And this didn't happen once, twice, it repeatedly happened. It happened for multiple times, maybe 4, 5, 6 times. He has spoken about that same chapter and then he has gone back. And the morning when he comes back, he again sees that the bookmark has changed to the chapter that he spoke. So without complaining, he spoke about this, and like this, whatever 7 or 10 days the Bhagavatam Katha was supposed to happen, it got over. And Pundanam, this Namudri, he was going back, realized that he has forgotten his Bhagavatam book in the temple because it was the last day and there is no more Bhagavatam Katha the next day. So he returns to the temple to collect his book. And when he comes back to the temple to see what's going on, from the wall there are some holes, and he saw that Lord Shiva was seated there and was reciting the same chapter which Pundanam had recited. And they were all the ghosts and all the followers of Shiva, they were also seated. Mother Parvati was there and Shiva was reciting this Bhagavatam. And at the end of the Bhagavatam Katha, Mother Parvati was not very, she didn't approve highly of Shiva, saying that Pundanam is far better than you. So this Pundanam heard that and he saw that it is the same chapter which was getting repeated 10 times. And still Lord Shiva wanted to repeat and recite the same verse. So it is a very important quality of a devotee to have eagerness to hear, even if using these words which are transcendental, it carries that potency. So that is why the sages are saying, Vayam tuna betrupyama. We are never tired of hearing Uttama Shloka Vikrame, these pastimes, these adventures, these wonderful nectarian sweet exchanges. We are never tired of hearing this. Don't feel that, now we should finish it soon or we should finish it quickly. No. You tell us, we are ready. We are ready to hear. And they are also telling in the last two lines, there is something important which happens when somebody hears. Yash shunvatam rasagyanam swadu swadu pade pade. So when somebody hears attentively with eagerness, then he not only enjoys, it is not just relishable for the heart and for the ears. Rasa, the mellow is not just that, we get the sweet mellows. There is also jnanam. There is also transcendental knowledge which eradicates the coverings of ignorance from our heart. And at the same time, swadu swadu pade pade. Swadu swadu is a very interesting use in Bhagavatam. Means it is, every step, every word, every sentence is relishable. Swadu swadu pade pade. It is like, taking a little ice cream and putting it in the mouth and just relishing it. Not, taking the whole thing, just little by little and just enjoying that taste. This is the beauty of Bhagavatam. Actually, what it does is when somebody gets a little bit of interest in this, as in the purport in this particular verse, Prabhupada explains that this is not Adilila 9.110, this is 1.1.19. So in that purport, Prabhupada explains, even if the time of death, one is alone, nobody else is there, one is there bedridden in a hospital or something like that, still he can relish because he has developed a taste for hearing Krishna Katha. Just the remembrance of that can give us so much of power, so much of transcendental potency. There is one outside world, macro world, where we live based on certain relationships, designations, certain expectations from the society and the family members. And there is an inner world. And that inner world or the micro world needs to be nourished. Often we are so engaged and busy in our external world, trying to satisfy this person, this society, that society, prove our false ego. We don't bother to take care of our inner world. That is why often you see even people who are successful externally, materially, grossly, outwardly, commit suicide. They have money, they have fame, they have name, they have everything, but internally they are lacking. It is getting dried up. There is no spiritual substance. So it is so important to hear and hear with attention and with eagerness. Yashranvatam rasagyanam swadu swadu pade pade. So the translation of this verse goes like this. We never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Uttama Shloka. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationships with him relish hearing of his pastimes at every moment. So with that introduction, let's start today's My Sweet Lord. And the title for today's topic is The Wait is Over. And this is about a great devotee of the Lord by name Madhavendra Puri. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a chapter which comes. It is known as Madhavendra Puri's Devotional Service. Of course, there is a sweet exchange which attracts our mind. Today, I was talking to one devotee who's attending these classes regularly. I said, "Do you have any suggestion? What should we change?" He said, "Prabhu, you just continue with the pastime. We want to hear more stories. The sloka and all is fine, but as long as you can continue, that looks like it gets little abridged and little shortened. We want to hear that more." But interestingly, those things look very attractive to us. How the Lord appeared, exchanged, and did something extraordinary for a devotee. But what we miss is what made Lord appear. Why did Lord do for that particular devotee? And that is why the jnana part is also very important to understand how to properly engage in devotional service. The Lord doesn't appear like that for us. The Lord doesn't, exchange those kind of mellows for us. What are those secrets which make that person different? What are those secrets which make that person a better devotee, a pure devotee? That we will try to see from this wonderful pastime of Madhavendra Puri. Amazing pastime, actually. So, before we start, let's chant this song, which is written by Bilwa Mangal Thakur. But it's a very nice song, very appropriate song for our Madhavendra Puri's pastime. So this goes like this. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Jivve Piva Swamritameta Pivaswamritam, amritam etad. Jivve pivaswamritam etadeva. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. It's a very interesting song. These are different names of the Lord. This is a composition by Bilwa Mangal Thakur, as I said, another great devotee. We will probably have him in some time. So this verse says, Shri Krishna, Govinda, Hari, Murari, 4 names of the Lord. Krishna, we have seen, all attractive. Govinda, who gives pleasure to senses and cows. Hari, Hari, who takes away all the inauspiciousness in our life. Murari, the killer of Mura demon. And then, He Natha Narayana Vasudeva. The Natha is referring to Lord, and Narayana and Vasudeva, 2 other names of the Lord. And then he is requesting, Jivve Pivaswa Mritameta Deva. This last 2 lines repeats at various stanzas. So he's telling, oh tongue, who's not used to, who doesn't know that the real nectar lies in the holy names of the Lord. Jivve Pivaswa Mritameta Deva. If you really want to drink Amritam, really ambrosial nectar, if one wants to drink, so just chant Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. And that is what our great devotee Madhavendra Puri did. And we will see that, and how wonderful was the reciprocation of the Lord. Now, as I said, not to make this sentimental, and also understand the spiritual knowledge part of it. So how does Chaitanya Charitamrita talk about or introduce Madhavendra Puri? So this is a verse which comes in the Adi Leela 9.10. It's a very important verse to know who Madhavendra Puri really is and what is his contribution. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Jaya Shri Madhava Puri Krishna Prema Pura Bhakti Kalpataru Tenho Prathama Ankura. Jaya Shri Madhava Puri. Madhava Puri is referring to Madhavendra Puri, as we'll see in the purport. Prabhupada says, Jaya, all glories to him. Jaya Shri Madhava Puri, Krishna Prema Pura. His heart was filled with Krishna Prema. Something unique about Madhavendra Puri. Why it is unique, despite the fact that he took initiation from Madhva Sampradaya, he started something very different, very unique. Krishna Prema Pura. His heart is filled with Krishna Prema. That is unheard of in the Madhva's followers. Bhakti Kalpataru. He is a desire tree, wish-fulfilling bhakti tree. Tenho Prathama Ankura. He is the first seed of this revolutionary process where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also comes. He is the Parama Guru, and his disciple is Ishwarapuri, and Ishwarapuri's disciple is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why it is revolutionary? Because they brought this Krishna Prema Pura. Very interestingly, the purport is a small one, but important to know, because the translation is all glories to Sri Madhavendra Puri, the storehouse of all devotional service unto Krishna. He is a desire tree of devotional service, and it is in him that the seed of devotional service first fructified. So the seed of devotional service, Ankura, Prathama Ankura, it fructified from him. And a very small purport, but I want you to pay a little attention. Prabhupada is saying, Sri Madhavendra Puri, also known as Sri Madhava Puri, belonged to the disciplic succession from Madhvacharya. If you see in our Bhagavad Gita disciplic succession page, Madhavendra Puri actually took initiation from Lakshmipati. And Lakshmipati, Vyasa Tirtha, Brahmanya Tirtha, Purushottama, Jaya Dharma, Rajendra, Vidyanidhi, Dayanidhi, Jnana Sindhu, Jaya Tirtha, Akshoja, Madhva. Like that, the link was there before to Madhavendra Puri. But after Madhavendra Puri onwards, it became this Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta, Gaudiya Vaishnava Dhara. And it's a very interesting discussion, important to know. Maybe we will have it in some other time. How from Madhavendra Puri onwards, it changed. And how Madhavendra Puri is the link between Madhva and the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Because Madhavendra Puri's disciple is Advaita Acharya. And of course, Ishwara Puri, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it comes. What was special and unique about Madhavendra Puri that he, started this slightly, different this thing from Madhva's follower? So in the purport, Prabhupada writes, Madhav Puri belonged to the disciplic succession from Madhvacharya and was a greatly celebrated sannyasi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the third disciplic descendant from Sri Madhavendra Puri. The process of worship in the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya was full of ritualistic ceremonies, with hardly a sign of love of Godhead. Sri Madhavendra Puri was the first person in that disciplic succession to exhibit the symptoms of love of Godhead, and the first to write a poem beginning with the words, Ai Dina Dayardra Natha. It's a very beautiful verse. Ai Dina Dayardra Natha. It is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We will not talk about this today. We will talk about it on another occasion. I'll tell you when that is. Ai Dina Dayardra Natha, O supremely merciful personality of Godhead. In that poem is the seed of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cultivation of love of Godhead. So that's why Madhavendra Puri is very unique, very special, has a very powerful contribution. So let's see what is his mode of devotion and what was the exchange of the Lord with Madhavendra Puri. So like we had in our Sakshi Gopal, there is a scene 1 here. And interestingly, this is a conversation which is happening between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. But this time, the roles are reversed. If you remember in the Sakshi Gopal past time, it was Nityananda Prabhu who was talking to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Nityananda Prabhu had already visited Sakshi Gopal in Kataka. He took sannyas at the age of 12 and he had visited there. And that's where when Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu were together, Nityananda Prabhu started talking about Sakshi Gopal. Are you all there? But here, it is a role reversal. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to talk about Madhavendra Puri to Nityananda Prabhu and his associates. So the pastimes of Madhavendra Puri, as given in Chaitanya Charitamrita, is coming out of the mouth of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So these are very sweet verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita. We will not go into that. But the interesting part is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was traveling from Bengal, he traveled towards Puri, Jagannath Puri. And on the way, he crossed many rivers. Many tax collectors. And then finally, he reached the village of Remuna. Now, those of you who have been to this place, it is famous for this temple called Kheer Chora Gopinath. Kheer in Oriya means milk. So it is Kshira. Ideally, it should be Kshira, but then like we say Kshirodakshay Vishnu, or we say Kshirabdi Sayana. But it is pronounced Kheera, that something is missing in that. So Kheera Chora Gopinath. So the Lord the literal meaning of that is who stole a milk pot. Kheer Chora Gopinath temple. That's situated in Ramuna. So the Lord, along with his associates, reached this temple of Kheer Chora Gopinath in Ramuna. The deity of Gopinath in the temple at Ramuna was very attractive. Lord Chaitanya visited the temple and offered his obeisances with great devotion. Bhakti kari koila prabhu tanara darshan. Yesterday we were seeing those three things which Kulashekara Alvar was telling. Jnana pasya, give up all your material knowledge, chant the name of Om Namo Narayanaya, and pranama, paying obeisances. We also saw when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu earlier visited Varahadev temple before reaching Sakshi Gopal, there are 6 things that he did. I hope you remember that. If you don't remember, we will discuss on another time, because this pastime is very lengthy and it's very interesting. And I want, like somebody is telling, you should spend more time in hearing and telling the pastime. So let's spend some more time in this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu paid obeisances with great devotion. And suddenly he saw that the helmet of the deity of Gopinath fell down when he was paying obeisances. The helmet of flowers on the head of Gopinath fell down and landed on the head of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when the deity's helmet fell upon his head, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very pleased. And thus he chanted and danced in various ways with his devotees. All the servants of the deity were struck with wonder due to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intense love, his exquisite beauty, and his transcendental qualities. They were all wonderstruck. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was ecstatic to see the beautiful form of the deity, and while paying obeisances, and the helmet along with the garland fell on Chaitanya's head, he was ecstatic. Suddenly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned something very interesting. Oh, sorry. Okay. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained there because he was very eager to receive the remnants of sweet rice offered to the Gopinath deity. Having heard a narration from his spiritual master, Ishwara Puri, of what had once happened there. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had heard this pastime from Ishwara Puri, and he wanted to stay there because he was very eager to receive the remnants of sweet rice offered to the Gopinath deity. How many of you have had this? Not that? Oh. Kheer Chora Gopinath. You've not been there. Actually, it doesn't come in Jagannath Yatra. It is a little far off. Very amazing. Very, Madhavendra Puri is designing. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, because he has heard this. It's beautiful, actually. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very eager to receive it. It is actually, you'll get it in the evening. It is not served in the morning. So you have to stay there the whole day to get the prasadam. When people go there, it's called Kshira Chora. You want to have the kshir, then you have to wait till the evening. So he was eager to receive the remnants of sweet rice offered to Gopinath deity, having heard a narration from his spiritual master Ishwara Puri of what had once happened there. So what has happened, that is, we will see now. The deity was widely known as Kshirachora Gopinath, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told his devotees the story of how the deity became so famous. Purbe Madhava Purira Lagi Kshira Koila Churi Ateva Nama Hoila Kshira Chora Hari. Formerly, the deity had stolen a pot of sweet rice for Madhavendra Puri. Therefore, he became very famous as the Lord who stole the sweet rice. So, that's how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is introducing Madhavendra Puri to the other associates over there. And he's telling, once Sri Madhavendra Puri traveled to Vrindavan where he came upon the hill known as Govardhan. So whatever you heard about this Kshirachora Gopinath a little bit, keep it in your mind. We will come back to that pastime tomorrow. That's the part 2 of Madhavendra Puri. Very, very nectarian pastime. Why the Lord became a thief? Why did he steal this? That we will see tomorrow. But today, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is describing, is narrating, is something which is also extraordinarily sweet. Is something very, very special. What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying now is, once Sri Madhavendra Puri traveled to Vrindavan, where he came upon the hill known as Govardhan. We've been seeing the importance of Vrindavan, how it is superior to Mathura, how it is superior to Vaikuntha, and how superior to Vrindavan is Govardhan. So Madhavendra Puri traveled to Vrindavan, and then he come upon the hill known as Govardhan. Those of us who have gone there, Govardhan Parikrama is a very, very, very nice way of rendering devotional service. So for holy name, the way to render devotional service, Nama Prabhu, is to chant and hear. For Archavatara, we have to do worship. For Govardhana, the form of rendering devotional service is doing parikrama. Of course, there are people who compete amongst each other, saying that, oh, I finished in 3 hours, 2 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, and the sooner you finish, it's like, as if you're very exalted. Or how long it took? 6 hours, gone case. But here, Madhavendra Puri, while doing this parikrama of Govardhan, he was taking days and months. He was absorbed in Krishna's pastime. The purpose of doing parikrama is not to finish, oh, I did it in 2 hours or 1 hour, or I did it in car, then you are bekar, whatever. It's not worth it actually. One has to go walk and take, a parikrama and be there in those places which are of immense importance. Otherwise, it's no big deal, going and taking a parikrama of Govardhan. So he was spending times in most of these important places by chanting, by remembering those instructions of Krishna, by meditating on that, and that is how slowly he was, circumambulating Govardhan. One interesting thing about Madhavendra Puri is, even though he was a sannyasi, he's called ayachaka. Sannyasi means they will not go and beg. We hear from Bhagavatam how Sukadev Goswami, he used to go to some householders and he will wait there for a few seconds. If they give something, then he'll take it. Whatever they give, with that he'll go. But there is another class of sannyasis like Madhavendra Puri who don't even beg. They will remain as it is, just they'll be absorbed in Krishna's service. Whatever comes on its own accord, whoever gives what on his own, with that they will live. So Madhavendra Puri was almost mad in his ecstasy of love of Godhead, and he did not know whether it was day or night. Sometimes he stood up and sometimes he fell to the ground. He could not discriminate what he was in a proper place or not, whether he was in a proper place or not while doing this parikrama. Preme matta nahi tanara rati dina gyan, kshane uthe kshane pade nahi sthana sthan. Then, after circumambulating the hill, Madhavendra Puri went to Govinda Kunda and took his bath. He then sat beneath a tree to take his evening rest. How many of you have been to Govinda Kunda? What did you do? Okay, what did you do? Huh? What's the past?
We went to the group and there was a hall there. We got there late return. And I think it was
Govardhan temple. We ate prasadam there. You're right. When we start our parikrama, actually it comes, that is the first stop where, for even for congregation, for folk, for, you didn't go anytime? So you didn't go along with the, okay. That is the place where we stopped. Usually that comes in the inner marg. You've gone? You've not gone? Okay. Huh? Big? It's a big kund. Govind Kund is very big actually. A lot of water is there. Yeah. So usually, when devotees go for parikrama, we have prasadam there because it comes maybe 5-6 kilometers. Within 5 kilometers it comes. So very beautiful place. Why it is beautiful? Of course, it's mentioned here that Madhavendra Puri stopped there and he was chanting. There is another spiritual significance of this place. You see, when Indra wanted to destroy Vrindavan and send this Sambardhaka cloud, there is something very special which happened. To know that, let's chant this song. Krishna prasadena samasta saila samrajyamapnoti cha vairinopi sakrasya ya prapabalim sasaksha Govardhano me dishatam abhishtam. So actually, when Indra sent his assistants to destroy Vrindavan, because he heard about Krishna, the small boy who has stopped the yearly ritual of worshipping and giving something in sacrifice to Indra, he was furious. He wanted to teach a lesson to the residents of Vrindavan as well as to this little young boy, Krishna. And he sent the Sambardhaka cloud, which is meant to, it is meant for destruction. And they poured rain, torrential rain, heavy rain for 3 days. And when Indra was inquiring from them, what is the situation? Now is Vrindavan visible on the map? They said, no, it's all over. It's all water now. There is nothing there. Indra said, no, you can't take him granted. You go back and check again. So when these messengers, when these assistants of Indra go back to Vrindavan to see, they go and they see underneath Govardhan. And underneath Govardhan, everybody is safe and happy and blissful, and Krishna is playing his flute, and everybody it's like a gala time. They couldn't believe their eyes. And then Indra came, and Indra tried all his level best. He realized it's his best is no match for Krishna. And he decides to ask for forgiveness. So he alone cannot go and do this. So he took a Suravi cow. First, the Suravi cow went, and behind him, Indra went for asking for forgiveness. The Suravi cow, on behalf of Indra, told Krishna that please forgive Indra. And then Indra offered some wonderful prayers in glorification of Krishna. That place where it happened is called Govind Kunda. So this Govind Kund, in that place, Madhavendra Puri was sitting and chanting and remembering this wonderful pastime of the Lord. How the Lord lifted this Govardhan hill, and how Govardhan is non-different from Krishna. That's how we worship Krishna. So when he was doing this, there is a scene 2 which comes after this. While he was sitting beneath a tree, an unknown cowherd boy came with a pot of milk, placed it before Madhavendra Puri, and smiling addressed him as follows. "O Madhavendra Puri, please drink the milk I have brought. Why don't you beg some food to eat? What kind of meditation are you undergoing?" When he saw the beauty of that boy, Madhavendra Puri became very satisfied. The beauty of Lord it's amazing actually. We were hearing that song, Adharam Madhuram, Badanam Madhuram. how every aspect of the Lord is so sweet and so nectarian. So he's seeing the beauty of this boy. Madhavendra Puri was very satisfied. And hearing his sweet words, he forgot all hunger and thirst. Then Madhavendra Puri is saying, Puri kahe ke tumi, kaha tomar vas, ke mate janile ami kori upavas. Madhavendra Puri is saying, who are you? Where do you reside? And how did you know that I was fasting? Very interesting. How do you know that I am fasting from all the people? And the boy replied, Sir, I am a cowherd boy and I reside in this village. In my village, no one fasts. In this village, a person can beg food from others and thus eat. Some people drink only milk, but if a person does not ask anyone for food, I supply him all his eatables. This boy is replying all this, that in this village, in our village, nobody fasts. And if somebody is fasting, not asking, then I'll supply all the eatables. And he's telling the women who come here to take water saw you, and they supplied me with this milk and sent me to you. This is the picture where this boy is coming and giving this milk under this tree in Govind Kund, where Madhavendra Puri was not feeling the hunger and thirst. He was tired. That's why he was taking rest there. But he was chanting the names of the Lord. And just by hearing this wonderful, sweet voice and his beautiful form, he was satisfied. His hunger was satisfied. The boy continued, I must go very soon to milk the cows, but I shall return and take back this milk pot from you. What is that? Milk pot is coming. Saying this, the boy left the place. Indeed, he suddenly would be seen no more, and Madhavendra Puri's heart was filled with wonder. So Madhavendra Puri drank that, and it was sweet nectarian milk, and he washed the pot and put it aside. He looked toward the path, but the boy never returned. He was looking to return that pot, but that boy never returned. And Madhavendra Puri could not sleep. He sat and chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And at the end of the night, he dozed a little and his external activities stopped. Now suddenly something special happens in his dream. In a dream, Madhavendra Puri saw the very same boy. The boy came before him and holding his hand, took him to a bush in the jungle. The boy showed Madhavendra Puri the bush and said, I reside in this bush. And because of this, I suffer very much from severe cold, rain, sour winds, and scorching heat. Please bring the people of the village and get them to take me out of this bush. Then have them situate me nicely on top of the hill. Please construct a temple on top of that hill, the boy continued, and install me in that temple. After this, wash me with large quantities of cold water so that my body may be cleansed. So this is the dream. In the dream, he's seeing that the boy is talking to him, saying that the same boy who gave that pot of milk is telling that I'm residing in some bush. You call the villagers and you clean this place and take me out and then situate me on the top of the hill. And please construct a temple for my worship. So suddenly, Madhavendra Puri realized how unfortunate he was that he didn't recognize that it was the Lord himself who had come with a pot of milk to him. But that was anyway in the past. So he thought that, okay, the same Lord is available, hidden in the bush. Actually, this was all because of this Muslim king's attack, that the priests had hidden the deity behind the bush. So what happens next? Of course, after that, he could manage to gather all the villagers and they cleared the bush as, it appeared in the dream. And lo and behold, there was this beautiful deity of Gopal. And they brought the deity of Gopal, installed it, and all the villagers brought various items. There was about 900 pots of water, which was poured on this deity. And they brought varieties of food items, rice, stacks of chapatis, vegetables, sweets, because this Lord is not different from Govardhan. Govardhan Dhari, he's the same Lord who had lifted Govardhan, so he's not different. So Govardhan, we all know that there is an annakut which happens. So for pleasing this deity, whatever they could manage, they all brought all those items. And this was personally offered by Madhavendra Puri to this deity. But there are these 3 verses which are very, very powerful. Remember I said, Vayam tuna vitripyama ya uttama shloka vikrame shrunvatam rasagyanam swadu swadu pade pade. We've been hearing the rasa, the nectarian exchange of the Lord with Madhavendra Puri. But what is the jnana aspect? Prabhupada mentions in this 3 verses, and there is another verse which comes after this. Very interesting and very important to pay attention, because as I mentioned at the beginning, important thing to know is why the Lord reciprocated for Madhavendra Puri. What was that special quality of Madhavendra Puri which made him different from others? So let's read this verses. Yadyapi Gopala Saba Anna Bhanjana Khaila Tanara Hasta Sparse Punah Temani Haila. So the translation is, although Sri Gopal ate everything offered, still by the touch of his transcendental hand, everything remained as before. So this verse, Prabhupada gives a very wonderful purport, and that purport has many interesting points. I'll just summarize that very quickly for all of you. So Prabhupada is saying, actually this process of offering food to the Lord, although Sri Gopal ate everything offered, still by the touch of his transcendental hand, everything remained as before. In the purport, Prabhupada writes that this process of offering and eating prasadam is inconceivable to atheists. Atheists cannot just understand what is this process. You are keeping some food items, and that food items, after some time, you are taking it out and you are saying this prasadam. They cannot just conceive this, they cannot perceive this. But very interestingly, Prabhupada brings some very important points. He says that by the touch of his transcendental hand, the transcendental hand of the Lord, all the food remains exactly as before, but it is the quality that is changed. Before the food was offered, it was something else, but after it is offered, the food acquires a transcendental quality. So all of us in this journey so far, we have seen, we are practicing, we are hearing how to offer food to the Lord. Such an important thing actually. Just patram pushpam, prepare something without onion, garlic, vegetarian dish, offer it to the Lord with love and devotion, as Prabhupada is saying, by the transcendental touch of the Lord, the food quality becomes transformed. Before the food was offered, it was something else, but after it is offered, the food acquires a transcendental quality. Prabhupada writes in the purport, this prasadam can bring a revolution in our consciousness because it is non-different from Krishna. And the 5th point which he mentions is, when our senses are purified by constantly being engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, we can understand Krishna's activities, names, forms, quality, pastimes, and entourage. Atah Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriyai sevan mukhehi jivvado swayameva spruhati yada. We can understand everything about Krishna, all the aspects, his name, his form, his activities, his qualities, pastimes. We'll naturally develop a taste if we engage in devotional service starting with our tongue. Sevan mukhehi jivvado swayameva spruhati yada. Swayameva spruhati yada. The Lord will reveal himself. Devotees understand Krishna through revelation, by his revelation. But it starts with the process of honoring prasadam. The next verse is telling how Gopal ate everything while the food remained the same was transcendentally perceived by Madhavendra Puri Goswami. Nothing remains a secret to the devotee of the Lord. All other people could not understand, or what is going on may not, but Madhavendra Puri could understand. It was transcendentally perceived by Madhavendra Puri Goswami. Nothing remains a secret to the devotees of the Lord. And Prabhupada says in the purport, actually, as I was mentioning in the before also, devotees understand Krishna through revelation. Krishna reveals them. And the simpler process of understanding Krishna's revelation is by engaging our tongue in devotional service. The next verse is a very important one. Ekadinare udyoge aiche mahotsava koila, Gopala prabhave hoy anya na janila. The wonderful festival and installation of Sri Gopalji was arranged in one day. Certainly, all this was accomplished by the potency of Gopal. No one but a devotee can understand this. Say, if you go back and read this purport, for all of us actually, I mean the important instructions given by Prabhupada in the purport can transform actually our life. What Prabhupada is saying in this actually is telling that this Krishna consciousness movement has spread all over the world within a very short time. And in bracket, Prabhupada is writing 5 years. So he's giving this example how when Krishna's hand is there, the wonderful festival and installation of Sri Gopalji was arranged in one day. Certainly all this was accomplished by the potency of Gopal. No one but a devotee can understand this. And to illustrate this, Prabhupada gives the example of ISKCON, how this worldwide movement was established in 5 years. From 66 to 71, virtually all the temples were built. And mundane people are very astonished at this. Here lies the secret, some of the secrets which Prabhupada reveals in the purport. However, by the grace of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we understand that everything is possible by the grace of Krishna. Everything is possible by the grace of Krishna. Then Prabhupada asks a rhetoric question. Why does Krishna have to take 5 years? In 5 days, he can spread his name and fame all over the world like wildfire. But there are some more secrets which Prabhupada reveals in this. Those who have faith in and devotion to Krishna can understand that these things happen so wonderfully by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are simply the instruments in the fierce battle of, we are simply the instruments. And Prabhupada gives the example of Arjuna, how he became victorious in 18 days simply because of Krishna's grace on his side. And then he says very importantly, the verse from the last verse of 18th chapter, which we were seeing the other day. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will always certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. So we saw that by Krishna's grace, this is possible. But the next secret, which is revealed in this purport, is Krishna's mercy is accessed by sincerity and submission. Two things Prabhupada writes: sincerity and submission. If the preachers in our Krishna consciousness movement are sincere devotees of Krishna, Krishna will always be with them because he is very kind and favorable to his devotees. One has to be sincere. It is not some eyewash, not for showing off, not for some this thing. Sincere devotees of Krishna, Krishna will always be with them because he is very kind and favorable to all his devotees. Just as Arjuna and Krishna were victorious in the battle of Kurukshetra. Thus, Krishna consciousness movement will surely emerge victorious if we but remain sincere devotees of the Lord and serve the Lord. If we just remain sincere and serve the Lord, then, if whatever is necessary, whatever is required, Krishna will provide. And very importantly, submission. And Prabhupada writes what that word submission means. And work according to the advice of predecessors. That is the 6 Goswamis and other devotees of the Lord. And yesterday I was telling this song, as Narottam Das Thakur has stated, Tandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sane Bas, Janame Janame Hoy Ehi Avilas. Prabhupada quotes this and says that the Krishna conscious devotees must always desire to remain in the society of devotees. Sometimes this thought comes, I can do better if I'm alone. I don't need to submit to someone. I don't need to follow somebody's instruction. No. The devotees must always desire to remain in the society of devotees. Our talent has no value actually in devotion. I'm so talented, I can do this, I can show you. Doesn't matter. It's our attitude actually. And the attitude to remain submissive. That's what Prabhupada is writing here. Submissive to the 6 Goswamis and the other devotees of the Lord. Bhakta Sanevas, they cannot go outside Krishna conscious society or the movement. Within the society, we must try to serve the predecessor by preaching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cult and spreading his name and fame all over the world. In summary, the last line is very nice. If we attempt this seriously within the society, it will be successfully done. There is no question of estimating how this will happen in the mundane sense. But without a doubt, it happens by the grace of Krishna. So the summary of this purport is, by Krishna's grace, impossible can become possible. Second, Krishna's mercy is accessed by sincerity and devotion, sincerity and submission. And service without living the association of devotees brings success. Not independently, not trying to do something on my own. Without living the association of devotees brings success. Very interestingly, 2 verses which Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami quotes here. Murkha nicha shudra mani vishaya lalasa Vaishnava agya vale kari eteka sahasa. When Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is writing this magnum opus, voluminous Chaitanya Charitamrita, he is telling Murkha, I'm a fool. Nicha, I'm a low class. Shudra, I'm a, again, low born. Muni, Vishaya Lalas, and I've got Vishaya Lalas, I have desire. Of course, these are all not true, but their yardsticks are very high. So he's telling, despite having all these things, Vaishnava Agya Bale Kari Eteka Sahasa, because the Vaishnavas have given me this Agya, they have instructed me, I'm getting the Sahasa. And then Prabhupada quotes, Chaitanya Charitamrita has got this next verse, which is Sri Rupa Raghunatha Charanera Ibala Yanara Smrite Siddha Hai Banchita Sakala. Just by remembering Rupa Raghunathara Charane Ibala, just by remembering Rupa Raghunathara Charana, there is bala in that. Yanara Smrite, just by remembering Siddha Hai Banchita Sakala. Whatever desires are there will be fulfilled. I have taken little extra time. Interestingly, when this pastime happened, after this, the deity of Gopal was installed and he was worshipped, bathed and profusely fed. After 2 years of accepting service from Madhavendra Puri, he was very eager to receive the service from Madhavendra Puri. He was waiting for Madhavendra Puri to arrive to get this service from him. After 2 years, again, the deity of Gopal arrived in the dreams of Madhavendra Puri and told that my body is still having this heat. I'm still not, cooled completely. I'm still not satisfied. Go and get some sandalwood pulp for me from Puri. And as I said at the beginning, this chapter title is The Devotional Service of Madhavendra Puri. Had it been any one of us, probably, when the Lord is coming in this dream, Madhavendra Puri was very old. He was not a very young, energetic person jumping around. He was old man. But when he got this dream, and when the Lord appeared in his dream, and he asked him to go and get Chandan, sandalwood, he didn't say, oh Lord, why are you coming again and again in my dream and giving me this kind of instructions? He agreed to walk from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri. Didn't even bother what are the challenges which are going to come, what are the disturbances which are going to come. Oh, I have never done this. I can only do this. Those services which I can do, give that to me. I have preferences for those services. Where I am seeing, where people are looking at me and they're patting. Actually, these things one should think within the mind. How much one should ask oneself, how eager, how willing, how happy, or how much I accept the services when it comes to me, or how much of resistance I am having. This is the great example of Madhavendra Puri and execution of devotional service that the Lord reciprocates. The second part of this we will see tomorrow, how Madhavendra Puri goes to get this sandalwood, and he goes and meets, he goes to this temple of Kshirchora Gopinath, and what happens? Why did the Lord steal something, or what he stole? That we will see tomorrow. But I have a small presentation of 10 minutes about this particular episode that we saw today, how the Lord appeared in his dream and spoke. So you can see this. Is my sound audible?
No, Prabhu.
Yeah. Good.
Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Deen Bandhu, Krishna, you are the ocean of mercy, friend of the distressed. You lifted this Govardhan hill at the age of 7 to protect the inhabitants of Vrindavan from the wrath of Indra. My Lord, when will I get your mercy?
Oh, Saint, you look so tired. Please take this milk.
My dear boy, who are you? Where do you stay?
I'm a coward boy. My name is Gopal. I stay in this village. Please take the milk. In our village, no one fasts.
How refreshing. Thank you. How do you know that I am fasting?
The woman who came here to fetch water saw you. They asked me to give you this milk. In our village, we do not allow anyone to go hungry. Why don't you bake some food and eat?
It is my vow that I do not ask anyone for food. If Krishna supplies me with food, I eat. Otherwise, I fast.
I don't understand what kind of work this is. Anyway, please take the milk. I will come back to collect the pot. Now, I have to go to milk the cows.
Gopal! Gopal! Where did he go? He suddenly vanished. I don't have a clue where he lives. Now, I just have to wait here to return the pot to him. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Where is the boy? It is late in the evening. Where can I search for him? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare.
Madhavendra, Madhavendra.
How do you know my name?
I have been waiting for you here for a long time.
Who are you?
I am Gopal, the lifter of Govardhan Hill. I gave you the pot of milk.
My Lord! Krishna! Krishna!
I have been observing you for many days. I was wondering, when will Madhavendra Puri come here to serve me?
Krishna! My Lord!
My dear Madhavendra, listen carefully. I was installed by Vajranabha. Because of the fear of mlechas who came to attack the village, the priest hid me in a bush in the jungle and ran away. Madhavendra, take the help of the villagers and get me out of the bush. Install me on top of Govardhan Hill and construct a temple for me. Cleanse my body with large quantities of cold water. Thus, I shall appear to deliver all the fallen souls of this age.
Krishna! Krishna! I saw you directly. My Lord, but I could not recognize you. You personally came to give me milk. How fallen I am to accept service from you. Now, my only mission is to search for you. My only duty is to execute your order. I should get the villagers and search for Gopal. Gopal! Gopal!
Hey Madhu, why are you running like this? Did you see some ghosts? No, you don't know anything other than ghosts. We found something wonderful. We found Gopal. Gopal, the son of Ramlal. Where did you find him? Not that Gopal. He is the son of Nanda. Govardhandari Gopal. Don't joke early in the morning. You don't have any other better work. No, a sannyasi came here to do Govardhan Parikrama. He said that the Lord appeared in his dream. The Lord said that he is hidden in one of the bushes in the jungle. That sannyasi called us to help him to find the deity. The entire village is assembled near Govardhan now. I am already late. Hey Madhu, wait. Shri Krishna Radhavar Gokulesh Gopalam Govardhananath Vishnu Govardhananath Vishnu Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nath Narayana Vasudeva He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Jivve Piba Swamrit Met Deva Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti
जिह्वे पिब स्वामृतमेत देव गोविन्द दामोदर.
So this is the installation of the deity of Gopal, which happened, and how Madhavendra Puri was absorbed in hearing and remembering the pastimes of the Lord of Govardhan Dhari. We will not do the activity today. We will chant this verse and then we will close today. So this verse from the picture, can anybody guess who's offering this prayer?
Prabhu Narad Muni.
Narad Muni. How do you know? Where is he?
4 Kumaras, Prabhu.
4 Kumaras. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
Where did you see them?
He is standing.
Dhruv Maharaj or Prahlad Maharaj?
Dhruv Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj.
Even Prabhu Shankar Bhagwan is there.
Brahma is also there, by the way.
Brahma I could not see, but Shankar Bhagwan is also there.
Next to Shankar Bhagavan, 400 Brahma.
Actually, yes, Brahma ji is there. Yes, Prabhu, Brahma ji is also there.
Okay, let's see who is there. Let's chant the prayer first. Namaha Te Vasudevaya
Vasudevaya.
Namaste Vasudevaya
Namaste Vasudevaya.
Sarvabhutakshayaya
Sarvabhutakshayaya cha
Sarvabhutakshayaya cha
Sarvabhutakshayaya cha
Rishikesha
Rishikesha
Namaha
Namaha
Tubhyam
Tubhyam
Rishikesha Namastubhyam Prapannam Pahi Mam Prabho Prapannam Pahi Mam Prabho Namaste Vasudevaya Sarvabhutakshayaya cha Rishikesha Namastubhyam Prapannam Pahi Mam Prabho. See the word meaning. Namaha refers to obeisances. Te, to you. Vasudevaya, the son of Vasudev. Sarva, of all. So the word Sarva Bhuta Kshayaya, he is the resident of all the living entities. Because we are eternally part and parcel of the Lord. Mamaivamso Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So of all living beings, he is the residence. Cha and Rishikesha. Rishika refers to the senses. And here it is mentioned as mind and senses. And Isha is the controller. So Rishikesha, O Lord of the mind and the senses. Namaha, obeisances. Tubhyam, to you. Prapannam, who I am surrendered. I am surrendered to you, O Lord. Pahi, please protect. Mam, me. Prabho, O Master. So, somebody mentioned the answer correctly. I don't know how, but that's the right answer. It is actually, the prayer is offered by, not by Shiva, not by 4 Kumaras, not by Brahma, not by who else, what else you told? Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj, but it is offered by Akrura. Akrura is considered to be the ideal example of Vandanam. Yesterday we were talking about Prithu Maharaj, Archanam, worshipping. Vandanam, the example is given that of Akrura, wonderful prayers. And this is one such prayer which is offering. So what happened was, when Akrura was taking Krishna and Balaram for this fight in Mathura, he stopped his chariot in between at one place to take bath in river Yamuna. And when he saw in river Yamuna, he could see that the four-handed Vishnu is there, and along with the four-handed Vishnu, he also could see that there is Brahma, there is Shiva, there are all the 4 Kumaras, Narad Muni, all of them were present. and he could see that beautiful, he could have that beautiful darshan. Stopped. Okay, that's fine. So we chant this Suprabhatam for Srinivasa Govinda. There is a particular stanza which is coming in the screen. I think you can see that. It says, Sri Swami Puskaraneika Plava Nirmalakaha Shreyorthina Hara Virincha Sanandayaha Dware Vasanti Varavetta Hatottamanga Sri Venkata Chalapate Tava Suprabhatam. So this meaning, you can see that having taken their holy dip in the Swami Puskarani, gods like Brahma and Shiva and sages such as Sanandana are waiting at the door for your darshan with their hands raised, holding the rattan cane, I don't know, controlling the crowds. Glorious morning to you. Basically, all of us, when we go for having darshan of Srinivas Govinda, there's a long wait, long queue. And then by the time you reach there, you hear that word Jargandi, Jargandi, and then before you could even have your darshan, Jar you heard, and Gandhi outside only you'll hear. So out, gone. But if we feel we are very deprived and unprivileged, then in this verse it is mentioned, not just us. There is celestial great personalities like Brahma, Shiva, sages like Sanandana. They are waiting at the door to have darshan. And if they get late, then there is Dware Vasanti Varavetta Hatottamanga. There is the servant who are there with this cane. Hey, come on, Jargandi, Jargandi. To them also they do. So they are also going out. So Akrura could see that beautiful darshan of the Lord while he was taking bath. For the four-handed Vishnu and all the celestial personalities were standing in front of him. So this translation is, O son of Vasudeva, Vasudevaya, obeisances to you, Namaste, within whom all living beings reside, Sarva Bhuta Kshayaya, O Lord of the mind and senses, Rishi Kesha. Again I offer my obeisances. Namas, Tubhyam. O Master, Prabhu, please protect me. Pahimam, who I am surrendered unto you. Prapannam. So this is the verse, and I already explained the context. So what happened actually when Akrura saw this beautiful form, the last point you can see, he rejoiced at this vision and joining his palms in supplication began to pray to the Supreme Lord in a voice choked with emotion. So what should be the mood of this prayer? Actually, it's very important to just meditate on that one word, Rishikesha, who is the Lord of the mind and the senses. Unfortunately, we are constantly troubled by our uncontrolled mind and senses. The scriptures compare our senses with venomous, poisonous snakes, right? So it pulls us in all different directions, wants to go and just gratify. But Rishikesha is the controller, the Swami or the proprietor of this mind and senses. So when we surrender to him, Prapannam, then he can take care of this uncontrolled mind and senses. That is the mood. Vasudeva, within whom all living beings reside. Shayaya. We will chant this prayer, and I request you can memorize this verse, because these verses are very, very nice. How Akrura is offering this prayer. So let's chant one word at a time, then one line, and then 2 lines and 4 lines. Namaha Te Vasudevaya Sarvabhuta Kshayaya Cha Rishikesha Namaha Tubhyam Prapannam Pahi Mam Prabho Namaste Vasudevaya Sarvabhuta Kshayaya Cha Rishikesha Namastubhyam Prapannam Pahi Mam Prabho. Do one more time. Namaste Vasudevaya Sarvabhuta Kshayaya Cha Rishikesha Namastubhyam Prapannam Pahi Mam Prabho. We'll do 2 lines at a time. Namaste Vasudevaya Sarvabhuta Kshayaya Cha Rishikesha Namastubhyam Prapannam Pahi Mam Prabho. We'll do 4 lines at a time. Namaste Vasudevaya Sarvabhuta Kshayaya Cha Rishikesha Namastubhyam Prapannam Pahi Mam Prabho. Anybody wants to chant?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Go ahead.
Namaste Vasudevaya Sarvabhutakshaya Cha Rishikesha Namastubhyam Prapannam Pahi Mam Prabho.
Sarva Bhuta Kshayaya Cha. That line. Anybody else? One more.
Namaste Vasudevaya Sarvabhutakshayaya Cha Rishikesha Namastubhyam Prapannam Pahi Mam Prabhu.
Good. All right. So that's it for today. We will not go into the activity. That was a very interesting activity, but we have run out of time. We will see it tomorrow. And join us for the second part of this Madhavendra Puri's pastime. Very wonderful, very nectarian. As I said, we need to relish both the rasa as well as the jnana. Because the jnana is the one that sustains us. Rasa, I know this we hear for sometimes it attracts. After that we forget this. But why Madhavendra Puri is Madhavendra Puri? That's what we should see and understand. Thank you very much for joining, and I'll see you tomorrow with another episode of My Sweet Lord. So before we end, can I request all of you to come in front of your camera and raise your hands? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Shri Shri Madhavendra Puri ki,
Jai,
Pal Govardhan Dhari ki,
Jai,
Pad ki,
Jai,
Gaur Premanande.
Jai Bol. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining.